Okay, two very special guests joining us on this special broadcast. Brian Lazaro joins us live from Oslo in Norway. Also joining us live is Himanshu Dikshit from Paris, which I believe is freezing at the moment with -5 degrees. Brian, I'll start with you on that one. Something that I said at the start of the broadcast, everyone has been talking about that last encounter between Argentina and France. The scoreline was very close, 4-3, but clearly if you saw the match, France were the runaway winners. They looked like the better team that time around. But 4 years have passed. Was I correct when I said that teams have changed? Both France, maybe not as potent as they were 4 years ago, and Argentina looking better organized this time around?
First of all, good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be speaking with you on a historic occasion like a World Cup final. Yes, you are correct. The teams are completely different from when they met in the World Cup in 2018 in Russia. This Argentina side, I would argue, is much stronger than the side that they fielded in 2018. France is similar in many senses in how it plays and how resilient it is, but both teams will have a different match today than they had in 2018, that's for sure. So we can expect a fantastic afternoon for all of us as we enjoy the final.
Okay, let me also go across to Himanshu Dikshit, who's joining us live from Paris. Himanshu, I believe it's freezing in Paris at the moment, but I'm sure things are also getting a bit heated up now that we just have a few hours to go for that big final.
Well, Nikhil, I would love for the things to get a bit heated up very, very quickly because, as you said, it's -5 degrees. If you can see, there is an Eiffel Tower behind me. If France wins tonight, the Eiffel Tower will be in the colors of the French flag. Also, I will tell you something. I've been speaking to some French fans here. They're a bit tense about tonight. I think they feel that it's destined for Lionel Messi to win this World Cup. Remember in 2018, this French team beat Argentina 4-3 in a thrilling encounter. But this time they know it could be a little bit different. France is very good at trolling. Paris has a huge metro network. There is a metro station in Paris which is called Argentina, which means Argentina. They have changed the name of the metro station from Argentine to France. So while they seem confident, but they are a bit apprehensive knowing that how much Lionel Messi had a huge impact in this tournament so far.
Okay, Lionel Messi. So quietly confident. I think that's the one operative word that I've picked up from what Himanshu was telling us. The fans are, of course, gearing up for that big final, but they're a bit wary of that one name that we've heard the most while we've been here in Doha, and that is Lionel Messi. Bryant, I'm going to take this question to you. Talking about Lionel Messi, we were talking about how the Argentine team is different this time around. What we've also noticed is a different Lionel Messi in this World Cup compared to the previous World Cups. Many are saying that, listen, this is the leader that they were looking for. He's now actually being the true leader, leading the team. He's also got the right support cast to support him. But one thing that you've noticed which is very different about him here while seeing all the games, we've seen an edgy Lionel Messi. We've seen a Lionel Messi who's losing his cool. That's not very, common sight on the football field. But do you think this edgy Lionel Messi has kind of helped Argentina not only to pump the team themselves up, but also Lionel Messi, because he's looked very determined compared to last time around?
I would agree with the point you're making. We're certainly seeing a Messi that is more fired up. He's always been a player that leads more by action than by words. And I think this tournament we've seen a Lionel Messi that is not afraid to go toe-to-toe with any coach or player. We saw how he was with Van Gaal and the Netherlands team in the quarterfinal, a very fiery performance from Messi. I think it's the first time we've seen him so confrontational with his opponents, which I believe is a good thing because it's inspiring motivation and energy from not just his teammates but also the fans and everyone around him. He's doing it in a respectful manner, in a competitive manner. He's not crossing the line of insulting anybody. So I would say that this is a unique Messi we've seen, but at the same time it doesn't surprise me to see him lead with action rather than words.
Okay, Himanshu, I'm just going to take that Lionel Messi question to you. Here, when you talk to the Argentine fans or even neutral fans, when you talk about the Argentine team, there is talk of Argentina, but alongside there is talk of Lionel Messi. So it's not just Argentina going for the World Cup, it's also about Lionel Messi going for the World Cup. I want to know what's the talk in the French circle. Is it about France? Is it more about France defending their title? Or is it also about Kylian Mbappe? Is it also about him establishing himself as a future GOAT? Are those conversations happening in France, or is it more so, no, we want our team to win, doesn't matter if Giroud gets goals, doesn't matter if, Griezmann is the star player, or if Kylian Mbappe gets the maximum amount of goals?
Nikhil, that's a very interesting question. I will tell you why. Lionel Messi has a very interesting history regarding the French public. Messi was a Barcelona player, and Real Madrid, with Zinedine Zidane,
Yes,
and all those kinds of people involved with Real Madrid, they mostly considered Real Madrid as their favorite if Real Madrid ever played against Barcelona, and Messi was basically the villain. Now Lionel Messi lives in Paris. Things have changed a little bit over here. Mbappe and Messi are now considered to be good pals. They play for the same team. So there is clearly a bit of a soft spot for Lionel Messi. French people also realize the fact that France won the World Cup in 2018. So there are some really chilled out French fans who are okay if Lionel Messi wins the World Cup this time. They will not have a problem since they already know that France won the World Cup in 2018. However, there is a big debate between Kylian Mbappe and Lionel Messi. That's where their true passion actually comes out, because Mbappe is a true Parisian boy, and they really want Mbappe to win this World Cup and basically take the throne from Lionel Messi as the best player in the world. Also, I will tell you a few things about Paris today. It's very, as we spoke about the weather earlier, it's -5 degrees. It's supposed to rain in Paris from 4 p.m., which is basically the time when the match will begin. I remember in 2018 when France won the World Cup. Basically, I'm wearing the French jersey right now of 2018. It was absolutely mayhem all across the country, all across the city. It was hardcore summertime in France. Right now, it's freezing. It's going to be raining. So I wonder how the French people will celebrate if France eventually do go on to win the World Cup.
Okay, that's a very interesting perspective that Himanshu is giving us from Paris. I mean, it's very rare to see that even the hardcore French fans there in Paris are kind of okay if Lionel Messi wins, because he's a boy from Paris, he plays for Paris Saint-Germain, and because he's so loved across the world, many regard him as the greatest player, and most people do want him to lift that World Cup trophy at the end of his career. The other thing that Himanshu mentions is very interesting, that France have won the tournament last time around, so they're pretty happy with that one trophy. May not be as hungry as the Argentine fans are to lift that World Cup trophy, which has eluded them for a very, very long time. 86 is the last time that they won the trophy. But the one thing that both countries are tied on are 2 titles apiece. So whichever team wins it now, they'll go one step ahead of the other in overall title wins at number 3. But that's not the sentiment that I've come across here in Doha, because I met a lot of Argentine fans walking around the busy streets and bazaars of Doha. Also met French fans. They're still ferociously backing their team, rooting for their team, and hoping that their teams lift that World Cup trophy. Listen in.
Any early prediction for the match?
Yeah, we will win. France win.
By 2 goals, 1 goal, 3 goals. What will be the margin?
3 for France, 2 for Argentina. It's going to be a difficult match. I mean, always difficult, but we think it could be 2-0.
I think France 3, Argentina 2, and you?
3-2.
Yeah.
He's got a scorecard. He's got a score.
He's got a scorecard also.
Porque no vas a entender las finales que perdimos, cuántos años las lloré.
Okay, fans are all charged up here in Doha, as you just saw, and we've still got about little more than 3 hours to go for that final. Next time that we'll be coming live on India Today, we'll be at the stadium, so you can just imagine the kind of energy that you'll get to see. Meanwhile, I'm going back to my two guests in Bryant and Himanshu, still live with us. Bryant, coming to you, I'm going to talk to you about both teams. Let's start with France. Tactically, you're a professional coach. Tell us which are the areas where France can really hurt Argentina. Most analysts here believe that it could be the two wingers, both in Mbappe as well as Dembele. They have the pace, so the left back and the right back would have to be very, because if they slack in speed, France could score.
Yeah, well, it's no secret that that France has two of the fastest wingers in world football in Kylian Mbappe and Ousmane Dembele. I think Argentina will be very wary that in France's offensive transition and counterattacks, they can hurt Argentina at any moment in the match. We saw it in the 2018 World Cup. Mbappe in space is absolutely devastating. So it's a player, along with Ousmane Dembele and players like Griezmann, that when you give them space, they are absolutely lethal. So I predict an extremely tactical match. I think Argentina will sit back and be compact and pick their moments to press so they can deny France's threat, which is counterattacks. Evidently, France can hurt you other ways as well, but to answer your question, if you can reduce the space and the amount of times France can counterattack, I think you can control Mbappe and Dembele as much as you can control them during 90+ minutes.
As you said, that maybe Argentina might just sit back as well. France also focus on counter-attack. Because if both teams are looking at counter-attack, which team do you think would be happy keeping the possession and biding their time to get a goal?
Well, that's a good question, and it's not so clear to answer. I think most analysts, when you look at the game, Argentina will be okay if France can have horizontal passes and just keep the ball moving the ball side to side, because this doesn't put them in a position where they can use space and counterattack. At the same time, Argentina will not be able to maintain a low block for that long, because France also has the possibility to get crosses in with big players like Giroud and score headers. So they will want to find the balance of letting France make horizontal passes, not giving them space, and then when Argentina gets the chance, also to establish attack and have possession of the ball, so that France can get tired behind it. So it's going to be an extremely positional game, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens, because there are many outcomes, and I think both teams have fantastic managers that will wait for the other team to make a mistake.
Okay, very interestingly put there, in terms of what tactical things both teams are going to be doing in this game. Quite similar they've set up in this tournament, waiting, not keeping possession for very long, waiting for counter-attacks to score, but both teams with similar strategy. How do they go against each other? That will be very fascinating to watch. So the larger context is, of course, Argentina versus France, but there is a subplot to it. That subplot is that of Kylian Mbappe, Lionel Messi, both tied on the number of goals that they've scored. So there is that race for the highest goal scorer. There's also the race between the two of them for the best player, that is the Golden Ball Award. We went around Doha speaking to a host of fans and trying to find out who do they think will at the end of the tournament be crowned the player of the tournament. Let's listen in. As much as this FIFA World Cup final is about Argentina and France, it's also about two shining stars of international football, Lionel Messi and Kylian Mbappe. Both are tied on the number of goals that they've scored, but the thought now is who's going to win the best player of the tournament, or the Golden Ball as it's called. We went around the busy streets of Doha to find out exactly that.
Who will be the best player? Kylian Mbappe or Lionel Messi?
Of course, 100%. Both of them are in a great level right now. We hope, of course, as Argentinians, that Messi can win the World Cup and make a great match.
Kylian Mbappe will be the best player because he already won a World Cup and he will win his second World Cup.
Messi, of course, Messi.
I hope not Messi because he is arrogant and I don't like him in real life.
Lionel Messi. Kylian Mbappe. Lionel Messi had some really good moves the last game, so I think if he pulls them again, then he will definitely be better than Mbappe.
Mbappe, of course. Mbappe is the best player of this World Cup and in all the world.
Messi. The way he's playing so far, like Messi.
Lionel Messi.
Messi, of course.
Okay, our two guests in Bryant and Himanshu Dikshit are still with us. Himanshu, I come to you. We're talking about Lionel Messi, we're talking about Kylian Mbappe. I want to know, is there any conversation in France about Didier Deschamps? Because he's on the verge of creating history too. He won the World Cup as a player, then won the World Cup as a coach. He could actually repeat that as a coach. He's been tactically brilliant in his team selection. He lost out on a lot of important players, and yet he found a way to take his team to the final. Can you tell us the kind of conversation that's happening around Didier Deschamps in France?
Didier Deschamps, Nikhil, is an extremely loved figure in France, in the French football. In fact, if he goes on to win this World Cup, even if he doesn't go on to win the World Cup, he's already being considered as one of the most influential figures, a person who has given French football probably their biggest moments. He's loved, he's looked upon as somebody who takes a backseat, he's a great manager. And all over France, Didier Deschamps is undisputedly an extremely loved person. And just the Kylian Mbappe and Lionel Messi debate, if I can just add a few things because of the people that I spoke to here, most of the French people that you speak, if you speak to them on camera, if you are projecting yourself as a journalist, and if you speak to them and if they are telling you who is better, Kylian Mbappe or Lionel Messi, they will shout their lungs out and say it's Kylian Mbappe. But if you have a private conversation with them, most of them know that Messi is the GOAT.
Okay. Okay, that's brilliantly put. So something else privately, but of course if you come and speak to them about, publicly who's the best player, it's quite obvious that they will say Kylian Mbappe. But great to know that privately everyone believes that Lionel Messi is class apart. But Himanshu Dikshit, thanks so much for joining us, giving us the latest update from Paris. Also, Bryant Lazaro, thanks so much for taking our time speaking to India today and helping us set up this big encounter between France and Argentina. I'm afraid that's all the time that we have on this broadcast. But here's a reminder, we'll be back again in exactly 1.5 hours from now. We'll be live from the Lusail Stadium. We'll bring more fans in and then discuss about the big final, which is still about 3 hours to go. For the moment, Nikhil Nas signing off. Bye-bye.